All right, I'm going to say this every time, but this is going to be a short one. I'm all stressed out. I actually was feeling a little bit better yesterday after getting on the live stream because, as I was saying, since the Bills lost, that meant that Bob was unhappy, which meant that I was unhappy. And I've noticed about myself, I've never really thought about the term empath until more recently. And I was like, okay, it's like you come across a term in your life and you're like, I think this word classifies who I am, but you're just being exposed to the word, so you really don't have a clear, deep understanding of what it even means yet. And so you start to do some research and check it through some people or professionals, whatever it is, you know, online, and you're like, okay, I think that this term describes me. And then once you find the term that describes you, then you run into other stuff that it's like a web of causality, and you figure out why things have happened in your life the way that they have happened because you're this word. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to me with the word empath. And I'm not sure if it's like that for some other people on here, if they have found out along the way, because we didn't have there wasn't a bunch of fancy terminology like this back in the day. And so I'm just kind of curious if anyone else along the way has figured out that they're an empath and what that meant to them and how they could have a better understanding of events and things that have happened and relationships and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like not just understanding the past, but being able to, um, because you identify as this word, you're able to kind of navigate the future a little bit better. And I feel like that's what it's done for me. And one of the realizations I've had in this process is figuring out that narcissists are attracted to empaths, and that okay, so I've never gone to therapy, but I was renting a room at an Airbnb in Ithaca, and the lady was a therapist herself. And I talked to her for a little bit, and then she's like, oh, these things, all the things that they want to say, these things started childhood and blah, blah, blah. And apparently, the main difference between a therapist and a life coach is that the life coach tends to focus more on the future versus a therapist going back in time. I'm living in York, Pennsylvania right now, but I've spent most of my life in Tampa. Don't really want to, well, you know what? It was a pretty snowfall today. Um, so I'll give it that. And it's kind of packable. So I saw a couple people making snowmen. So I thought that was really cute. Wisconsin, is there snow on the ground there? My aunt says you're not from Florida till you've eaten a worm or a minnow. I felt like I've seen more minnows because I was like a creek kid when I was in Pennsylvania. So when I hear the word minnow, I feel like it more so takes me back to my camp days when I was in Pennsylvania as a kid and trying to catch them. And it's like, you can never fucking catch them. But we tried, nevertheless. $100 says you couldn't do that though. Yeah. It's impossible, man. Um, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I talked to her and then she's like, yes, these relationships kind of form during, a child's development and blah blah blah. And it was like, okay, that actually, and it's the first time that it's actually been said to me that way. And I was like, okay, things kind of clicked a little bit in my head. And I was like, but what are you supposed to do with that information? All you can do is recognize that it's there, continues, to be here. Um, but to, at least for your chosen family, your partner, your friends, you can probably Not that I did a good job of it because I was the token empath that attracted narcissists. But I was like, okay, now through all that shit, it's like life will keep sending you the same lessons until you've learned them. And if you haven't learned them, life will keep sending you that same exact message in a different form until it clicks and you finally get it. And then you're able to like change your course. And so I feel like for whatever reason, and I had, there's a long story behind all of these things, and most of them their baseline is me being in a vulnerable position financially. So at least me recognizing that that makes me vulnerable, I'm able to steer clear of power imbalances, because if there's a power imbalance, it is just natural for me to like bow down to the person who has like the quote unquote power, but it's this invisible power. And does money really determine power? A lot of times it does, but sometimes not. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm in avoidance mode right now, so I'm not having to really face these things. Maybe sometime in the future I'll have to face them. But I've made some, hard quiet quits in the meantime. So I feel like that's a good start. What's your book? You left early, so I couldn't ask last night. The book is about Isaac. I worked at a ketamine clinic for 2 years. So the book is a guide to treatment and integration after the treatment, and kind of like a little bit part memoir of the person that, why I was driven to this type of environment. It gives a little bit of context for the reader. When I was a provider there, a lot of patients wanted to know my story. So I felt like, you know what, let's just give the people what they want. Let's give them a little bit of my story. So, and I feel like it makes sense. I feel like if somebody's giving advice, like, who is this person? Like, who's this motherfucker that's trying to give me advice? Just because you have a title or initials after your name doesn't always mean that that person's reliable. A lot of times, these people with initials and degrees and stuff like that, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but some of these people have not endured quote unquote real life or true struggles, true hurdles, and I don't know if I would want to take that person's advice in a mental health setting. I think I'd want somebody who's been there themselves, on some level. And I felt like I had to tell my story, be like, okay, I'm a credible person to be offering this advice, not only because I was on the front lines of all this shit and I've seen thousands of people through the fucking, therapy, but because I personally, have been through shit. And I know that they've been through shit or else they wouldn't be getting ketamine. So, we have something in common here because they look at me and they think, nothing's wrong with her. Um, and I lose credibility right off the bat because they just assume that a lot of people assume if you're a well spoken person, if you're halfway attractive and, you have a decent job and you've been able to get this certain license, you've lost all credibility. I look younger than what I am. So I wanted to give a little bit of like background and I felt like, a person like me sometimes has to overcompensate because of people's, you know, subconscious stereotypes. So I'm proud of the book. It's on Amazon. Let's see. Hope you're having. Oh, we got a lot of people on the chat tonight. This is fun. Okay, I'm scrolling up because sometimes when I get on tangents, I miss out on the comments. So cute, the mini mic. Isn't it precious? Anything miniature. You take anything in the world and you make it miniature, it becomes adorable, precious, cute, and you just want to like squeeze it, you know? Let's see for dog chewing. Dog chewing. I did play around a little bit with ASMR because I do kind of have an ASMR voice when I go into whisper mode. I'm not going to do it right now per se, but I would love to play around with like an official ASMR mic. This whole thing has been so fun for me because I'm not historically like a speaker, but on here I'm like that was one of my topics today as I have not scrolled at other TikToks. So today I scrolled around TikTok and I was like, and I stuck to the lives. So I wanted to see the competition out there. I wanted to see what I'm up against. And I'm like, man, this is a pile of shit. I was like, it's a bunch of nonsense. And I don't want to hate on these people because I know how hard it is firsthand. So I'm not throwing shade, but it is kind of like a bunch of nonsense. And like a lot of these people on here, they just call out every name that's coming up on the screen. Hey, blah, 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 let's go. And then they do like a little fucking dance. And then like, oh, let's go. And you see like gift, gift, gift. And you're like, oh my God. I was like, I know that's what my friend like wants me to do, but I can't co-host right now. I'm a solo act for right now. I will venture off into different stuff of TikTok later, but for right now, I'm a solo act. Um, but I was like, oh my God, this is just, first of all, it reads a little shallow. Second of all, it reads a little unintelligent. Third of all, it's a little like not much personality going on. I don't know. Is that conceited? Am I conceited? What do y'all think of the other like TikToks happening? Are there any quality TikTok lives happening on this thing? Am I the only genius? Am I the only genius on here? By the way, I'm not genius. I don't know. Probably not. Life is a test, ain't it? Sure is. You just keep getting thrown test after test after test. And you're like, okay, like the best way to approach it is wake up the next day, be like, what's next? What else do you have to give me? And be excited about it. Instead of like dreading, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? You know, like what shitty thing is the world gonna send to me next? Or like, what struggle will I have to get through? Or, um, how much extra work am I gonna have to do to do this, overcome this. And then you just start kind of like dreading the days. But if you can wake up, not to say as I do this all the time, because I don't do as I say, not as I do. But if you can wake up or approach each day with, oh my God, this is so wonderful. I get to encounter challenges today and find a way to overcome them and learn and grow from them, and I just can't wait for the next one. If you can have that mindset, you've got life like figured out, I feel like. Da, 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 da. It's a shared power in a relationship. That's the best way. That's the best kind of relationship is a shared power dynamic. But I feel like a lot of times in my past, it came down to who had more money. And because I was like trying to get degree, I felt like I've been like a lifelong student with like not that I've just been a student, I've had jobs the entire time and jobs in between school and blah blah blah, but I feel like the other person has always had more money except for the guy I ended up marrying back in the day. I believe from 23 to 25, but don't quote me on that. It was a long time ago. I would probably was making more money than him. I don't know, actually. I don't think I was. I think he was just making a bunch of dumb, like, decisions and mistakes, and he was, like, in and out of jail. So I feel like, whatever money he was making was just, like, going out the door, and then it started dipping into my money, and then when we got divorced, I didn't even ask for anything back because I didn't have money to get a lawyer and shit and try to get money back from this dude, and that's a story all of its own. The name of it is The Ketamine Journey, a nurse's grounded guide to treatment and integration. And I don't know if there's a way to like put it on here. I've never like tried to leave a comment. Can you even? This is funny. Okay. I can't figure out the buttons. I'm reading very elder millennial right now, people. I'm reading extremely elder millennial. I'm embarrassed. What do these buttons do? I'm reading Boomer, actually. I'm reading Boomer right now. Or maybe Boomers know the buttons better than I do. Let's see. AI wallpaper, pull and gift vote, draw and guess. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. We got to do that sometimes, people. I don't know. I don't know how to write shit. If anyone knows. Hello, Thuboy. Thuboy? I don't know how to say it. Hope you're having a great night. You know what? It's an okay night. The Bears lost, and the family wanted the Bears to win. I wanted the Bears to win because my friend Doug is from Chicago, and if anyone was watching football tonight, the last like throw and touchdown that the Bears had was like fucking amazing, and then the fucking dude throws an interception when they went into overtime. And it was like sad. It was very somber. It was a somber night. But these things happen. And it was just like a sad weekend overall for football because I really wanted the Bills to win. They went into overtime too. And like they lost in overtime too. So it was really fucking frustrating. These fucking guys fumbling and intercepting at such crucial moments of the game. But that's what pressure does, man, pressure can give you adrenaline. You can do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Like it has like a superhuman element to it, but at the same time, when you have that much stress and you're in overtime, like you know, mistakes happen. And that's my 2 cents about football. Being attractive is a detriment. Oh wait, let me read that. Being attractive is a detriment. It can be. There's a lot of talk about pretty privilege, and I make it known that because people assume certain things, you almost feel like as that person that you have to overcompensate to be taken seriously or professionally. And I had a lot of guys come on to me as a provider, as a healthcare provider. The men were coming on to me, and I just find it hard to believe that the women would come on to their male, quote unquote superiors or providers, because that just isn't professional to like come on to your doctor, you know? Tell me if, I'm fucking wrong, but I think that that's crossing a line. Um, and it makes it really awkward as the provider to like turn you down, but you have to turn them down nicely because you're going to see them next week. You're going to see this person again. And these are mental health people. So you have to like tiptoe over like feelings and stuff like that. And they become fixated because they think that, you're friendly and friendliness can be misread. So then you have to like, I was told I have to pull back my friendliness and I can't be as bubbly. And then maybe the men would stop hitting on me. And then I was like, I tried, honestly, I tried. But I can't help, just being myself. And mostly my friendliness is just like a ball of goofball. It's not, and to be told by female superiors I can't be myself. I don't know. I never quite got that figured out. I had to quit. I had to quit. I need to be in an environment. This is why I'm disappearing into the woods, people, is because you almost have to take me away from everybody in order for me to be mentally healthy. Because if I'm around anybody, they fucking read me as a pushover, or try to hit on me, quote unquote, get in my pants, take advantage of me. Like I am a target. I'm like, how do I stop being a target? I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that part. Thank you for the roses. Um, Nick. But I'm like, man, how do I not be a target? So this is why I'm in avoidance mode right now. So I'm avoiding. I'm like, I'm in York, Pennsylvania, where there's nobody hitting on me. I go to the Planet Fitness. The employees, are in their 60s and very friendly, and I love the Planet Fitness people, but nobody fucking talks to anybody at the fucking gym. I feel very safe there. It's my safe. So I'm at home and then I go to the gym, and this has been going on since October, I believe, late October. Um, Wait, was I in Florida in November? I think I was until a certain point. Needless to say, I've been in a cave, away from people so that nobody can take advantage of me besides my you know. Hello, what's up with Mike? I know, I keep saying it on here. It's either love or the hate with the mic. There's a bunch of crap on here. Seriously, Jamie, I feel you. I didn't know how much filth there was until I started scrolling myself. And then I was like, fucking A, these people are making me look like a genius. And I was like, it all makes sense now. Um, I was like, fuck it, if I have to be like that to make money off this thing, I was like, I don't think I can do that. I had a long discussion with my friend Doug. I was like, not that I'm pious or I hold myself to any sort of like super standard, but I do try to be a role model for little girls and the people in my life who look up to me that you don't even know are looking up to you. And I gave Doug an example of a girl coming up to me at the gym that was, I figure her to be Gen Z or something, and giving me props. And I was like, people are looking at you, whether you realize it or not, especially, as you're creeping up towards 40 and you're still killing it at the gym. And I'm killing my back. I'm killing my back and I'm killing my ankle right now to be at the gym. But I want to be one of those people that puts in everything. And I do want to be the person that people look up to for not for everything. And I told Doug, I was like, do not like, yeah, I'm not the person that, you're going to go to for financial advice. It ain't me. It ain't me. But this is what Taylor Swift is to little girls. And she's just a good role model of be true to yourself, whatever that is. Put in your all. She has a great work ethic. She's very professional. She's nice. She's kind. She has a warm heart. And that's like Taylor Swift is the epitome of what I would like to be for other women, whether younger or older. But my niece is watching me right now, and we have a click. Me and my one niece have like a click going on, and I want to be the person that shows her, gives her an example of something else, because my sister's a housewife and I want to give an example of, like the non-housewife. Like, look at her, she's doing the Pacific Crest Trail. This is, part of why I want to do all these, through hikes. So I want to be the girly girl doing these, getting the triple crown, because then I want to show the other girls that, hey, this is possible. If they can see it, then they can envision it for themselves. And what I'm seeing on TikTok from the other lives and a lot of the other reels and things going on, and I was like, this is not role model behavior. And I was like, if this is what is making people money, I'd rather just have a regular job. I mean, for fuck's sake. If I could make a job talking, that'd be great. I love doing this. I love doing this. I put in a lot of forethought into what I'm going to talk about, and I have a lot of experience to draw from, and I try to talk about real things. But I was like, these TikToks are not talking about real things, in my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. How many knuckles can you pop? I don't actually pop knuckles. I feel like I've been told that it's not good for you to pop knuckles. I know I'm very far behind in the comments. I'm trying to. Did you see my comments, stars? Let me follow. Okay, let me scroll up, stars. How many? Oh, yeah, the knuckles. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever popped a knuckle in my life. I don't know. Never done it. I would be afraid to do it live right now. Let's see, right? I'm looking at you. Let's see. She keeps sending friend requests to me. Who? Lansford. Oh, Denver. I love Colorado. So today, part of what I did was I got all these postcards, and I think I have an example over here. Oh, so someone was asking me about my book earlier. This is the cover. Designed by me, by the way. Props to me. So this is me in an enchanted forest. And that's literally what I typed in Canva, enchanted forest. And then I threw in this enchanted bird that reminded me of a painting in one of the ketamine rooms. And I made like this lettering, I'm very aesthetic. So I like to play around with colors, but I really wanted the enchanted forest background, like looking up into the sky. So I got 100 of these from Canva and I'm sending them to psychedelic organizations, therapists, psychiatrists. Um, who else? I feel like it's a little hot in here. Hot and her. Yeah, just different people like that. So I focused my like marketing to around this area. ChatGPT helped around this area, and then I focused on Charlottesville, which a lot of my patients in DC, not a lot, but I've chosen not to focus on the DC market because I don't want my job to find out about my book. So I did Charlottesville, which is where I used to work anyhow, just to kind of play around. You have to kind of experiment in the marketing world, and I'm no expert. So I did a bunch of shit. Well, going to send out these bunch of places in Charlottesville, a bunch of places around here. I have six books coming to me, so I'm going to personally hand deliver copies of my books to six different clinics around here. And then I have like this like psilocybin cafe. And maybe Mr. Denver, Colorado, but it's called the Plant Magic Cafe. And it was one that I walked to after the MAPS convention. Maybe you heard of it. It was going on last year, but it's like the biggest like psychedelic conference in the USA. So I was able to go there last year, and I just had the time of my fucking life, by the way. But I went to Plant Magic Cafe and I was like, oh my God, what a cool. And they were doing like a special event for like the psychedelic providers. And it was really cool. And then I tried this thing called kava, and it's not like the kava tea, it's like something else. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then the girl was like, oh, it's kind of like ecstasy. And I was like, is this legal? Is it not legal? And then she was telling me that it was legal. And I was like, what is this? But I was in the mode where I was like, fuck it, I'll try anything. But they were selling it at the Plant Magic Cafe. And then they had like a meeting with all the psychedelic providers after I had taken the kava or whatever the fuck it is. It starts with a K. And I was fucking tripping out during this meeting. I was falling asleep and I was like, oh, and I was a little bit paranoid. I was like, oh no. I was like, I got to get out of here. And I was just like, oh, act normal, act normal. I don't know if anyone's been on drugs before when you just have to like tell yourself, act normal. And you just know that like you're not normal, like you're not acting normal at all. And it happened to me once on a whitewater raft. I'll have to see this story for another day, or else I'm going to talk forever. But I had eaten too much of an edible on a whitewater rafting trip, and I was tweaking. I'm very susceptible to drugs. Apparently, if you're an empath, if you drug me with anything, I will go crazy. And I was tweaking out, and I was like, it was one of those situations. I was on the raft with all these other girls, and I had just gone by myself, and I was like, act normal, act normal. And then the guy like touches me on the back. I like go like that. Then he's like, Lauren, what's going on? And I was like, everything's okay. Everything's okay. You don't want people like worrying about you or anything. And it was the coldest I had ever been in my entire life on that whitewater rafting trip. Literally, you know, and I have Raynaud's, and I should have known to like bring 5 different layers. I'm not sure, but all the girls ended up having to give me their extra jackets. So I had on like 6 girls' jackets, and I was just like, and then I went into like survivalist mode. And then I was, because I had to keep paddling. So I kept paddling, and that keeps you warm too. So I'm like freezing my ass off and just paddling like I'm in the fucking military or like a Navy SEAL or something. And I just have to like paddle to safety like my life depended on it. I thought I was near death. I thought I was near death. I was going to lose my fingers, I was going to lose my toes, and I was going to be hypothermic. They were going to have to like bury me in, the New River Gorge. And what a crazy experience. I might talk about that one a little bit more another day. I told myself I was going to keep this one short tonight because I'm so Hey, Silver Fox, Alabama, the Dirty South. Is that part of the Dirty South? I met a guy from Alabama on my most recent hiking trip, and he was a joy. I wonder what part he was from. This is good. Open up to the tribe. What tribe? Sup, sister? Hi from San Diego. Okay, so on that note, San Diego. Was looking at flights today to San Diego because the jump off point for the PCT is in Campo, California, and you have to fly into San Diego. And I was looking up flights because I had a Southwest credit, and I didn't pull the trigger today because I would have to. I don't know. I was just. It's like you always get afraid before booking a flight because they want to charge you a bunch of cancellation fees and shit, and it's always stressful to press like confirm. And then you have 24 hours to cancel it, and after that you're shit out of luck. Then you got to pay them money to change anything. So I was just scared to press confirm, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be in San Diego May 6th apparently because I'm flying out. My hike begins on May 7th. So I can only stay there one night. I would have wanted to stay in San Diego a little bit longer, but the finances will not allow. But my friend that lives in Anaheim, I'm hoping that she'll be able to pick me up from the airport if I'm lucky and have dinner with me. And then I'll have to go to like a hostel. And then this is all just me researching today. I haven't gotten everything like planned out for this hike yet, but apparently they have a PCT shuttle that takes you from San Diego to the jump off point. So I'll be staying at a hostel where that shuttle picks you up from, and then maybe I can meet some other hikers that are beginning this thing. The hardcore people. There's got to be the hardcore people doing the PCT. These are not your regular old day hikers. I'm venturing into hardcore territory, which I'll be posting on here. So I'm sure there will be some interesting moments like there was on my last hiking trip. Those are on my YouTube. Lots of soliloquies, let's just say that. There'll be more soliloquies to come. Student zombie, cheers. Let's see. Oh, hello, Agent K. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Where have you been? What's going on in your life? Jaybird, hello. Yeah, a little bit chatty here tonight. Maybe I normally come on at 8 o'clock, and maybe people are still eating dinner at that time. 8 o'clock seems to be like working for me though, personally. I probably most days I could probably get on at 7, but then I was like at 7, people really are like probably eating dinner. I don't know. I don't even know when people eat dinner. I just kind of eat as I please throughout the day. There's no like set dinner happening. It's just kind of like scraps. Um, yeah, so you don't ever know. Country gentleman. I know, and that's what's kind of nice. I like the idea of the deep south, and I like the idea of the Midwest as far as like wholesome people um go because you're just kind of brought up, yeah, in that like gentlemanly manner and around I don't know, man. I'm not running into gentleman types, or there's types that like for the first like couple dates they'll pretend to be like a gentleman, and then as time goes on, you're like, no, this dude is just one of the guys I dated before. I think I went out on 3 dates with him last summer, and it was as if he had like a playbook, and that this formula has worked for him to like get a girl in bed in a certain amount of time. And I was like, I was like, you don't even know me. I was like, I'm not gonna get into bed with somebody that I don't know. And he thought that like I wasn't getting physical with him in the amount of time he expected me to, and that was that. And then he like ghosted me, and then I think like a week later he texted and asked, "Hi, how are you?" when we were supposed to have plans over the weekend, and it was a clear ghost. And I was like, it doesn't sit well with me. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. I was like, block. And now on First Queen Energy, I'm operating one strike rule, one mean comment to me or heckling about news or politics. I was like, you're out of here. Because anytime I give someone second chances or benefit of the doubt, it never works out. And I've just like kind of learned to like trust my gut. And if my gut is saying something, I have a decent moral compass. If my gut is saying something, I have to listen to it. And so that's how I'm operating now. And that dude, I used to know what that dude's up to now, but he was doing a formula. It wasn't like genuine gentleman. And I feel like you can kind of read when somebody's being an authentic good person versus trying to appear as though they're an authentic good person. There's a very clear difference, which can elude, many novices out there, which is why I'm trying to protect these young girlies. PCC, PCT, just chilling. That's all you've been up to is just chilling. Good vibes. Yeah, good vibes. We're in a bubble here, And I like the bubble. This is my bubble. This is kind of a campaign I've created over the past week, and it's a fake campaign, but the campaign is called Let Lauren Speak, because for so long Lauren has been silenced, and I feel like I can say whatever the fuck I want on here, and nobody's going to interrupt me. Nobody's here to interrupt me or steal my sunshine, steal my energy, dim me, quiet me, silence me. This is me. And I'm like, you know what? Let Lauren speak. Lauren has things to say, but a lot of what I have to say gets lost when other people are clouding me because I'm naturally a courteous person and I don't try to steal anyone else's thunder. And on here, I get to have my own thunder, which is just fun for me. It's what happens when you give Lauren a microphone. Anything can happen. Anything can come out of my mouth, and I just feel so free and uninhibited. Um, and even though comments are coming in and everything, I don't feel interrupted. I was like, this is my space. This is my bubble. Um, yeah, it's kind of nice. How long will you hike for? So I'm kind of like budgeting about 4 months, which is on the shorter end of things. But if I can, you know, even talking about it right now hurts my fucking ankle. I wish I could show you guys my ankle, you know. To briefly rehash, I had surgery on it a year ago. It's still not fully healed. But when I was hiking over the summer and fall, everything was okay. But now like something's got it really irritated, and with like 30 pounds on my back for 4 months, I'm getting a little worried. So I'm going to have another like assessment from a physical therapist and just get some advice to get it in like good shape for all of this because I've never hiked with 30 pounds on my back. I'm going from 0 to 10, and I'm just kind of a 0 to 10 person. And I have grit, but chronic pain in your ankle just really sucks. I don't want to have to go through that for 4 months. I don't want to have to. Goddess Lady, yes. This is Goddess. I call it Forest Queen Energy, FQE. Let's look it up. This is the formal definition. I'm making up terms. Um, I'm making up my own dictionary, like campaign Let Lauren Speak. Forest Queen. I've also used the term forest floozy. Um, forest fairy. Sometimes I can be a forest fairy. Um, yeah, there's a difference between a forest queen and a forest fairy. I think that they can coexist, but a forest fairy is not, she's just out there to like be lighthearted and have fun and sprinkle joy. A forest queen reads more like um empowerment. Depends what mood I'm in. So FQE. There's a picture of me hiking. FQE is warmth, empowerment, authenticity, and all around good vibes. And then I had to write in and laughter because Forest Queen energy is nothing if we can't laugh at it and share your laughs. Because that's what life's all about. Sweet, beautiful angel lady, puppy boy. Yes, give me more. Give me more. Trip to New York City once, not enough time to tell you what a good time I had. Trip to New York City once, not enough time to tell you what a good time I've had. Oh, I mean, I would assume that there was good times to be had. It's a melting pot of not only, there's plenty of people to run into and things to do, and I could only imagine. I've been to New York City a couple times, but not I didn't really get like the full taste. I went as a kid a couple times, and then I was dating a guy from Queens, so I stayed with his family for a few nights in Queens, and we went out to like a few bars. Nothing crazy. I danced, but not my, I didn't go all out, let's just say that. Dun, 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 dun. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Coming to San Francisco. So, good question. I haven't really mapped out where my stops are going to be along the way because I'll be hiking pretty quick. Um, it's just going to be the traditional stops along the way of what the traditional PCT hike entails of, going into town. I don't know if San Francisco is one of the towns that like you go into. I don't think you go into major towns though. I think the towns that they're referring to are like small towns. I think Tahoe is along the way though, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I'll have to do a lot of planning. I got months to plan all this stuff out. I'll keep you guys informed. Today I was researching a little bit more about gear, and I've been researching fabrics, and looks like ChatGPT only wants me to bring like 2 outfits along. So I have to be very, very specific on what I'm bringing and what will be the lightest and offer me the best like odor protection, moisture wicking, etc., etc. I'm a big Patagonia fan. Well, Patagonia fan. Anything Patagonia makes, I'm just kind of like partial to. I really love Smart Wool. I like that brand as well. But what else? I like Cotopaxi just because I like the colors. I don't know if anyone's, heard of those brands before. I don't know if we have outdoorsy people in the chat. I think AGK is outdoorsy. Is it solo or group led? Just me, man. Just me. Maybe I'll meet people at the hostel. I've asked my friend. Well, first of all, my friends aren't really like gung ho outdoorsy. Um, I invited a couple friends if they wanted to do stretches with me that they wouldn't need a permit for because permit situation is done. So I already have my permit. So no one can really join me for the whole thing, but I don't think I have any friends that can take off 4 months of work. I'm sacrificing a lot to be able to do these through hikes. I'm sacrificing wages. I'm on here. I'm working for my mom right now because it's flexible And these are like your prime money making years. And I'm sacrificing that because I believe so strongly in doing these hikes for myself internally, but also as part of the whole being a role model and figure for other girls. And I don't know, when you feel something so strongly inside of your core, you just have to follow through on it. And to hell with whatever sacrifice you have to do to get there, because it'll all be worth it if it makes you feel good internally. And all the ketamine patients will tell you this too. If you can have joy, follow it. Do everything that you can to capitalize on that joy, because there are people in the world that do not have the ability to feel joy or have very minimal joy in their life that totally wish they would give up almost anything and everything just to feel alive and feel that joy. And because this is the thing that brings me joy, I have to do it. How can I not? How can I not? And there'd be like a how many, I'll have to look up the figure, but how many solo females have gotten a triple crown? Um, not many. Not many. It's mostly single dudes out there, first of all. And the single girlies are not doing the through hikes. People my age are fight raising children, for fuck's sake. I have to do this. I have to. Dang, nice, all makes sense. Yes, I don't know if I'll meet somebody at the hostel that wants to join, but also you have to be kind of a little bit careful on who you have like join. Most of the time, like these people are good people, but for 4 months, you don't want to be stuck with that person for 4 months. You know, that's why I invite like there's very few people on this earth I'd want to be stuck with for 4 months. I'm just gonna start fucking around with my hair. See if the Rogaine working. I feel like it's started to work. Yeah, this is sex hair. Let's maybe let's give. I have not had that in a while. Since I'm going to bed. Today was hair wash day, and because I was like fucking doing the taxes and doing watching the game, I didn't have like time to properly do my hair. So I threw in a couple curls before I came on here. And I was like, you know what, this is fucking it. This is the best. This is the best I can. This is the best. Look, I'll do like a one eye thing. Okay, I'm getting slap happy now, you guys. There's no alcohol in the household. Like, I just need to get like a. I'm really saving my money actually for the dang hike because I got to get all my gear and shit. So like, I haven't like treated myself too much of anything. But you know what would sound really good right now is a fucking six pack of anything. Natty Lights. I'd take Natty Lights. I like it better the other way. See, this is kind of fun when you have thin, thin, thick hair. You can just kind of like do whatever you want with it. And I feel like this might be like a kind of cool look happening here. Let's see what the comments say. Let me try to confuse some people coming into my bubble right now. Like, who's this girl? What's going on with her hair? California is a pretty good place to hike. It sure is. I went to as part of the see, and I don't know which streams you've been on, Agent K, but this past summer, at least the California hiking I did, I went to Lawson Volcanic. I went to the Redwoods. I went to Lake Tahoe. Um, so much is a blur. I went to wine country, and what else did I do in fucking California? I went to this one like national monument where there were a bunch of like caves and I went caving. I'm sure I did other shit. Everything's just like a fucking blur right now. You'll join me in wine country? So, do you know Sebastopol and Healdsburg, if I'm saying it right? I thought I was going to go into like True Sonoma and Napa, and then the people in Sebastopol were like, "Oh no, no, this is the White River Russian stuff." They're like, "This is the good shit," and I just stuck to around there. I was like, "This is satisfying me just fine," and I'm kind of partial to um, smaller wineries anyway because you get more personal attention, and because I go with my by myself, I like having the personal attention, and I like to get wine educated. So I really enjoyed my experience there. Yeah, in Sonoma, Sebastopol is chill. It is chill. And Healdsburg had a really like cute downtown. One of the ladies from the psychedelic conference lived in Sebastopol. Um, and so I went over to visit her and her husband. And that was kind of like, I saw some familiar faces along the way when I did my trip. And she was one of the familiar faces from that conference. And she was kind of giving me the scoop on the area. And I just had a really nice time. I talk about it in my book a little bit more. And certainly, like, apparently, when I'm rewatching my streams, I say the word certainly a lot. So I've kind of made it like a thing where I'm like, okay, Lauren, do not say the word certainly tonight. And certainly, I said certainly. It was certain that I was going to say certainly. And I fucking did. It's a fucking habit. I say the word a lot too. And I was like, I'm not catching that when I'm on here. And not that I have to be perfect, but you know, you try to be the best speaker you can be. And like I was saying earlier, it's not like I have much of a competition on here as far as the intelligence realm goes. I think that the general streamers of here are not, you know, what's a girl supposed to say? What's a girl supposed to say? Anyone else got to weigh in on that? I went to do the train and oh, I know. That one looked fun. Where you can hop on and yeah, that would be really fun. I think I was looking at that and I was like, oh, that's kind of expensive, but not that expensive. But I was like, it was more expensive than my budget would have allowed at the time. And I was operating off of a very tight budget. And when I was staying there, I was renting a room from somebody in like Santa Rosa or something, like off of Airbnb. And she had like 7 kids living with her, and her daughter was living with her. And this room was like $30 a night. And I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. But it came at a price because I could only use the shower from like 8 to 10 p.m. or something like that. So I had to make sure that if I was going to shower, I was going to have to like be back by that time. Thankfully, the Planet Fitness was not that far away, so I was showering at the Planet Fitness. And Planet Fitness comes in clutch when you're like a nomadic girly like I am. I can't say enough good things about Planet Fitness. I wish they would hire me. Can I be their spokesperson? Does anyone have any connections to corporate Planet Fitness? I would like to be their girl, you know? Can they put me on I will rep them. I will rep them. Although they probably don't want me repping them because I'm going to rep them to the outdoorsy crowd that's just going to use them for their showers along with workouts, but the nomadic people that I have met in the wild definitely utilize Planet Fitness to like park their cars and sleep overnight there, shower. So I don't know if they'd want me being their girl. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep on should I do full face? Maybe this? Yeah, let's just confuse a little people. Let's confuse back Sequim. This last person that joined, Jody McClure, we could just I could be like the other TikTokers and just fucking call out every motherfucking person that comes in here. If I'm the smartest person of TikTok, it is kind of uh funny because I'm also probably the one who cusses the most on TikTok. I think I'm the smartest, but I'm also the most potty-mouthed person of TikTok. Do they have awards? Can I win an award? I would love if there was like a way to like count up all the times I've said a bad word. And I had to watch myself because apparently my niece was watching the other day and she's like 8, like 10 years old or something. And I was like, oh, I can't, got to put a lid on it. Can't you got to be that role model? But Taylor Swift cusses in her songs, cuss away. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Bitch. Asshole. Dickhead. Pussy. Feels good, right? I think we should all just, you know, I should have a list of like 10 cuss words and then we can all just chant them at the same time. And how good that would feel. Maybe I'll do that. Cuss therapy. Yes. Dick, pussy, bitch, asshole, dick face, motherfucker, shit. I don't know, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's, a lot of it just has to come around naturally. Can't really, can't put a girl on the spot to come up with all the pussy always ends up finding a way into my vocabulary. Pussy is one of my more favorite things to say. And I don't know if anyone follows like Lily Allen, but one of my friends introduced me to one of her newer songs called Pussy Palace. And I just think it's funny that she named her song Pussy Palace. It's just fun to say. Pussy can be a good word or it can be a derogatory term. Depending on how it's used, it's gender interchangeable. It can describe a man, it can describe a woman. There's a lot of different uses for the word pussy. But did I get here at the wrong time? Matthew, are you just getting here when all I'm doing is talking about pussy? It's a great word. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, this is what maybe I should do these fucking things late at night. I swear to God, when I am tired, this is when I get I don't want to say off character because this is the real character. But I'm a little bit more composed a little bit earlier on in the day. You can tell on here if I have a drink and I'm drinking the drink like I was the Di Serono a couple times because I just like shit just flows like no other and it's a little bit less thought out and I just love the times when stuff comes out and it's completely, you know, unscripted if you will. And you just like most of the gold that comes out of me is the times that nothing's pre-thought out and it just like comes about. That's why it's so fun to like interact with the comments and shit because none of that's scripted. Like obviously I don't know what you guys are gonna say. Just keep playing around with the let's just, we can confuse the people in the chat. We can just have fun. I'll have my hair like this and I'll just be talking about pussy. And then people will hop in the room like, what kind of room is this? What is happening over here? I think putting people in a state of confusion is probably one of my more favorite uh, things to do in this life. It's a good hobby, and not in a mean way either, but just to keep them guessing. Keep them guessing. It's a game I play. It's not hurting anybody. But to pique curiosity. Hi, did it hurt when you fell on my FYP? What does FYP mean? Am I giving elder millennial now again? It's a very deep combo. Yeah, we get very deep on here. Actually, I think we do. I think we hit the whole spectrum. We talk about lighthearted things and then we talk about deep things. And I feel like that's what a good stream should do. And it should not just be some fucking person that's calling out everyone's name trying to get fucking gifts. I think people should pay for my services of speaking. Don't get me wrong. I think that what I'm giving is gold to the internet. The internet should be thanking me right now. You're welcome, internet. You're welcome. You're getting, you people are lucky. You're getting in on this while it's free. This is, I'm chargeable. I'm worth a lot of, I don't have any money, but I'm worth a lot of money. My hourly rate, as a nurse practitioner, I'm sure was around like the $150 an hour range. So if you're joining me for an hour, you're saving $150. So this is quite a value. Abortion doctor here. Is that a joke or for reals? For reals? If it is not a joke, thank you for everything you do. I don't know if I'm offending religious folk in here. The cash money bag. Let's see. Let's see, laugh my ass off, give it so fun. Yeah, a savings. I call it a savings. Okay. Okay, what I do after these is I do a little bit of preparation for my appearance. I feel like I actually, now that we're talking about money, I feel like I could benefit from a hairstylist for these. Um, possibly a makeup artist. I really need a personal assistant. If I could have a personal assistant up in here and a personal chef, um, housekeeper. I need a team. And then I can deliver the good all day long. If I could have a fucking team, I need a video editor because what I do after I only trust myself actually as a video editor. Um, but after this, I go back, rewatch my whole fucking show, and I take out the clips that I personally think are funny or insightful. So it has to be in one of the two categories, funny or insightful, in order to make it into the clip reel. But that is a very time consuming process. That takes like however long the stream is, add a half an hour onto that because I'm fucking uploading this shit to YouTube, Instagram, on here. You know, just trying to give the world what it wants. Everyone wants peace. Just trying to give them what they trying to give them what they want. It's not easy being a showgirl, people. It's not easy in show business. I'm doing this all myself here. This is why I need a team. And if I can't have a team, I at least need a personal assistant. I don't think that that's asking much. I don't think that's asking much. Sign me up. Aw, I love this. Let me see if I can see your. Oh, little Lens. Look how precious you are. Figuring life out. Yeah. Oh, I love the profile, by the way. Figuring life out one laugh at a time, dog lover, and good vibes only. Yes. Yes. Everything. Your profile is everything. Paulo the live creator. Okay. Wait, are you into the girlies? I have gotten asked that a few times because I do tend to. I've been on a man hating spree lately. No offense to dudes on here. I've met plenty of good dudes, especially on my hiking trip. I've met a couple like not so good dudes along the way as well. Um, like I said, I'm just kind of avoiding men in the meantime. So it sucks. I still, I'm attracted to men, and I think a lot of like females now are like, "Damn it, it sucks. We're still attracted to dudes." Like I fucking wish I wasn't. One of my best friends is lesbian, and their relationship just what I learned about lesbians because I've lived with a lot of lesbians in my life. I've had lesbian roommates and, you know, I feel like I'm a connoisseur of the lesbian culture, if you will. And a lot of times you're like, okay, they're dealing with the same shit that a straight relationship deals with, but also and this can go one or two ways, like when you can understand emotions a little bit better. Um, and girl, in general, doesn't happen the way for every girl, but in general, girls are just a little bit more caring and a little bit more emotionally intuitive, and they get each other a little bit better, I think. Doesn't happen that way every time. They still struggle with most things that straight couples deal with. Um, but yeah, interesting. But their relationship is probably one of the stronger relationships that I know. Cut the small talk. Let's get to the meat. Oh my God. That's teetering on a block, the real big Mexico. It's teetering on a block. I don't like being snapped at, and I feel like that was snappy. This is all I do on here is small talk. There is no meat and potatoes. If you're looking for meat and potatoes, best get yourself on another live stream. Maybe you want to listen to a fucking girl pretending to be a teacher or, jamming out to some music and just fucking, moving around and asking for gifts. Maybe that's more your style. I could be wrong. I could be wrong here, you know. Could be us. Completely understandable. Yeah. And I'm very big on if you don't like what's coming out of my mouth, this might not be the chat for you. However, if you want to shoot the shit, go on tangents, ride this wave wherever the wave may take us, then this might be the chat for you. If you want to have a good vibe bubble, this is the chat for you. If you want to throw out bad vibes, we don't invite bad vibes into this space. No siree. Okay, on that note, I will have to, I'm getting tired, people, and I'll have to rewatch this for an hour before I go to bed. I am working. I am working.